everyone, long time no see. Welcome back, witches. It's Natalie, and I'm here with the next installment in the Herb Cabinet series. I had intended to do this video way back in July, but as some of you know, there's been a lot going on since then. One of my assistants was in a very devastating car accident and had to quit, so it's left just myself and my other assistant, and we have been getting referrals out the wazoo. If you guys need money, go watch Lady Grave Dancer's money candle video and get on that because it works. So today, as I said, this is the next installment in the Herb Cabinet series, and I'm going to be talking about sumac, magical, wonderful sumac. Now, this is not to be confused with toxicodendron, which is poison sumac. This is something entirely different. At the end of the video, or if I can figure out how to do it, I will interject in here pictures of the two so that you can see the difference between the two. Now, Prairie Flame Sumac, which is what I'm familiar with, is a type of sumac tree that grows here in Texas. It is native to North, Central, and West Texas, as well as New Mexico and parts of Southern Oklahoma. Now, this is a beautiful plant, and you know it when you see it. Sumac tea has been known to be good for the throat, particularly sore throats and things like that. The scientific name for this plant is Rhus lanceolata, but they also call it Rhus glabra, and it's R-H-U-S. And that is a type of sumac tree that grows in Missouri. So they're related, not necessarily exactly the same plant. But it is a deciduous tree. It has a white berry. When the berries are white, they are toxic, but when they turn like this, they are good to go. Now, this happens to be some sumac that my husband got for me while we were in Cato Lake. It grows off the top of the tree, so it's got the wide leaves, and it's like a stalk of leaves with like 6 leaves that branch out, and then these stick up from the top, so you can just go and cut them off. And that's exactly what we did. Now, I don't know if you can see it in this video. Yeah, there you go. Right here, they get these little sumac hairs. So I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit. But it dries out very easily, and it's ready to go right away. So what is sumac for? What do you do with it? Now, I will tell you, I don't know if you guys can see it. I actually have 2 of these. I don't know if you can see it or not in the bag. There you go. All those little tiny beads. The berries are very, very small. Sometimes they're bigger, but then as they start to dry out, they shrink. But the leaves do contain tannin, which is used to tan leather. It's the same substance you find in acorns, which again is used to tan leather. So don't be chewing on the leaves. If you crush the leaves, they have a very strong smell. It's sumac, but you don't want to be chawing on the leaves. I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt you. Tannin might upset your stomach, but I wouldn't do it. Now, that being said, so if you are into natural methods for tanning leather, if that's your thing, then that might be another source of tannin for you. The fruit around here, what people typically do with it is they make what's called sumacade, and you take the berries and you soak them in water, usually overnight. Then you will drain out the water. You'll filter it. So put a piece of cheesecloth down and pour it out, because you want to catch all those little fine hairs and the berries. You don't consume the berries. You can consume the berries. I'm going to talk about that in a second, because another use for the berries is that you see it in Middle Eastern dishes, according to my research. They will take the berries and put them in like a pepper mill, and they will serve them over chicken or fish particularly. So you might see it used in some Middle Eastern dishes. I personally have never tried that, but now I'm curious, so I probably will. But the most common use I've seen is sumacade. Sometimes it's brewed also hot to make a tea, as I said, to help with sore throat. So people who use their voice a lot, such as those of us who do a lot of talking for our work, or who get strep or something like that to aid a sore throat, I've seen people use sumac for that as well in a tea. Now, got a slightly bitter flavor. It's not a super sweet kind of fruit, so just so you know, it's a lot like bull bark, and in my opinion, it's kind of sour. What are some of the magical uses for sumac? Why would you want sumac in your magic cabinet? Well, the reason that I personally, this witch, uses sumac in the bushes is that, in my herb cabinet, is because sumac has this lovely, beautiful red color that is excellent for making magical inks. So go back and watch my video on magical inks, but you can crush up the sumac. If it's dried, you can crush it into a powder and add that to your whatever to make your ink. I'm going to pull my hair back because I realize I look atrocious and I apologize. But I use it to make magical inks because of its red color and because it's such known for its kind of peaceful qualities, and I'll get to that in a second. I also like to use it in love spells and in peace spells, things to bring peace to your home. That being said, when doing research on sumac, I found absolutely nothing in Culpepper's Herbal. I found nothing in Scott Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Herbs and all that stuff. Don't remember the name of it. I got it over here. Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs by Scott Cunningham. Not a mention of sumac. There was also no mention of sumac in a Druid's Herbal, which is the other herbal book. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna push that down. Sorry, it's like sticking up. Anyway, so I did not find much in the way of magical uses as far as that goes. I did, however, find a resource, and I wrote it down. It is Hoodoo Herbs and Root Magic by Catherine Ironwood, is how I think she pronounces it. It's Yronwode. And that book had some information regarding its uses in terms of two. It talked about use of sumac berries, particularly if you have gone to court and you've been found guilty of something. In order to get a lighter sentence or a better sentence, people would carry 9 sumac berries in their pocket. So I would think that if you are doing some sort of a spell to aid in any kind of like divorce case and you want things to go your way, it may be something you can use for that. The other use that I saw listed for sumac was making peace water. So again, just like if you're making sumac aid, you would mix the water. I personally like to add other things to it that I know bring peace to the home. Like I'll add St. John's wort to lift mood. I will add chamomile to the water, and I allow the water to sit. Now, I do not use storm water for this, but I may use rainwater for it. Storm water because storms are usually heavier, but if it's just been like raining steadily and I collect that water, I may use that water for this too because rain to me is very purifying. So it'll wash away all the bad feelings, but I'll add chamomile, marigold, which is known for its soothing properties. Sometimes rose. I'll add rose to the water as well if I want to increase the feeling of love in the household. And basically you let that soak for 24 hours and then you can either leave the herbs in. I find that it's helpful to actually take the herbs out of the water and just have the water, which may get a slight red color to it, because especially if I'm using roses and sumac berries, it'll have a slight pinky tinge to it, sometimes an orangey tinge if I'm mixing it with the marigold and the chamomile and the St. John's wort, because they tend to be kind of yellow in color. So it'll produce this kind of like orangey kind of color liquid overnight. And what I will do is I will drain all the herbs out, because I found that when I go to use it in a sprayer, the herbs get sucked up into the sprayer and it actually clogs up my sprayer. So I have started draining my herbs, straining them out, but I will squeeze them to get the best property out of them. So I'll take a piece of cheesecloth and I'll strain out the herbs, and then I will squeeze that to get whatever last bit of the herb I can out. And then I will put that in a spray bottle and spray it particularly around the doors of my home and around the bed or bedroom, anywhere where there's been an argument or there's been some sort of negativity going on. I use it as part of my cleansing ritual sometimes to clear that out, and I have found that to be very helpful. That was a use that was also listed in the book Hoodoo Herb and Root Magic by Catherine Ironwood. So that's really all there is I can say about sumac at this time. If you have something to add to that, if you have another use for it that you do, or you want to know more about how to acquire it, you can buy sumac berries online. I don't know if it's available on Amazon, but I do know that there is somebody who sells that. And you can also look for Houston Wild Foraging. That's a blog spot that has a little bit of information also. So thank you so very much for watching. I'm glad to be back. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend, and blessed be.